What up, everybody? It's your boy Shaq the King up in this motherfucker, man. Back with another video. I know I done dropped a lot for y'all in these YouTube streets, man. I took a little couple weeks off, man, and that's because I keep telling y'all, I'm not a YouTube nigga. I'm just a nigga on YouTube. But I got a DM from somebody who is one of the reasons why I started getting on YouTube after watching them. You know what I'm saying? And I never knew that this person was watching my YouTube at all or that I even existed. And they got tens of thousands of followers and they got thousands of subscribers and all this other shit. But they hit me with a DM and said, yo, I meant to tell you this a long time ago, but I'll be watching your YouTube channel. Keep going, bro. You good at that shit. That's what the message was. And when I read that shit, coming from who it came from, it just made me think like, keep going, man. You never know who's watching. You know what I'm saying? You never know who's watching. So that's why I'm back again. And I might make that another game time. But I'm back right now, as y'all can see from the title. The Young Thug Snitch. All right? Hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow. Now, internet is going crazy. Internet is going crazy because a 2-hour, which this interrogation video has been out for like over a year and a half. I don't know why it's coming right back to fruition. But you know, I know why it is, because Young Thug, since he's gotten out of jail and beat his RICO case, has been on Gunna's tail, calling him a rat, calling everybody that took a plea a rat, Yak Gotti, a whole bunch of other niggas, rats. He's been on this anti-rat rampage since he's been out, okay? Now it comes out, this interrogation video. And I'm not gonna, it's a 2-hour video. There's all kind of shit y'all can go watch and dissect from it, right? But people are like, Young Thug is a snitch. And why? Because in that interrogation video, while he's talking to the police, he says, they say it was Pee Wee Roscoe, referring to a shooting that occurred, that Pee Wee Roscoe, he's already went and did the time for this. He shot up Lil Wayne's tour bus back in Atlanta a couple years ago. He's already did the time for it. I'm not snitching on nobody. It is what it is. He's already admitted it himself today in videos. He did the time. He did whatever, right? But let me tell y'all something, right? Because this was a 2-hour interrogation. But let me remind y'all of something, right? In case you didn't know this. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can be used in a court of law and against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you. Do you understand your rights? Yes or no? Those are called Miranda rights, okay? They tell you this because if they don't tell you that and they start talking to you, you know, they can't really hold you to that. The Miranda rights come from a person named Miranda, a gentleman by the name of Miranda. If I'm not mistaken, I read this hella years back, but I think they caught him for like a DUI crash or some shit like that, but they didn't never go through the regular protocol of, you know, telling him that, you know, he can have a lawyer present and all this other shit. And he ended up beating his case, I think. Y'all Google that and tell me if I'm wrong from what I remember, right? But everybody, especially you street niggas, always have the right to remain silent. They tell you that when they arrest you. They tell you that when they take you back to the station. They tell you twice before you start talking to them, right? So, according to street law, if you talk to the police about anything, you're snitching to some people. To me, it's kind of a gray area, because I heard an interesting thing today, and it was academics, and he was saying, you know, sometimes, and this is true. Sometimes a motherfucker will listen to what the police say in that interrogation just to kind of find out what they know already. And then when it gets to a certain point, then they'll ask for their lawyer, right? This was a 2-hour fucking interrogation, by the way. I'm not talking to the police for 2 hours, bro. I'm just not. At some point, you know, I cannot blame somebody for going in there and agreeing to listen to what the police have to say and trying to answer a couple of vague questions to, you know, see what all they know. But at some point, when it's getting to the point where you're about to incriminate yourself or somebody else, you need to call a lawyer. Personally, I just feel like, nigga, if you already know that you out here thugging and doing crimes and shit, you should just lawyer up off top, period. That's just my thing, right? But in this interrogation, You know, we already seen what Gunna did. Gunna snitched. Have you seen, is YSL a gang? Yes, ma'am. Did you see YSL commit acts of crimes and furtherance of the gang? Yes, ma'am. That's snitching, bro. I don't give a fuck how you label it. That is blatant snitching in the fucking courtroom to the judge. You are admitting, and especially when the case is built around YSL being a label and not a fucking criminal enterprise, and you over here saying, confirming that it is, okay? That was snitching. Sorry, I don't give a fuck what y'all think. Y'all can listen to Gunna, fuck you mean, all the fuck you want, and dance to his tunes or whatever, but that nigga's a rat. He ratted. Young Thug is in this interrogation saying, you know, I'm not trying to mess up y'all's investigation or whatever, but you know, they said Pee Wee did it, you know. Now I don't know if he was already locked up and came in there and they pulled him out of his cell, because that's what it seems like. But still, why would you say that? Why would you say that? That's what we call dry snitching, okay? Because Pee Wee was already locked up for this shit. But you're giving them, like, that's kind of like dry snitching, bro. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. I cannot sit here and move the goalpost for anybody, bro. I can't move the goalpost. I like Thug, bro. I like Thug music. But that sound like dry snitching. If we going by street rules, definition, did he say, yeah, Pee Wee Roscoe did that shit? That's blatant snitching. But when you say something like they said, who said? Why are you even saying this nigga's name, bro? That's dry snitching. Now, Pee Wee Roscoe got online today and was like, nah, Thug ain't snitch on me. And usually when somebody who is the person that people are accusing getting snitched on come out and say that, it's like, okay, we running with the person who is vouching that this person is snitch. But when we hear something like that ourselves, it's kind of hard to forget what you heard, bro. Regardless if you're hearing the nigga Pee Wee Roscoe say Thug ain't a snitch, there's plenty of reasons why he could say that. He wanted some money from Thug. He's still Thug's goon. That's the whole reason why he lit up the tour bus to begin with. He's still on the payroll, my nigga. You feel me? He's not fucking up his bag over some dumb shit when he already admitted it himself that he did that shit. It's not like Thug got on the stand and told on that nigga and incriminated him or put the police on him. They was already on him, and like I said, he probably was already in jail for that shit anyway. But still, do not do these people's job. Don't even insinuate that this nigga might have did nothing, bro. That's called dry snitching. That's called dry snitching. Like, am I wrong? Am I tripping? I'm not in the streets no more, but I was in the streets for over 20 fucking years, and I would consider, if I heard a homie did that to a homie, I'd be like, that nigga dry snitching, bro. Why did he say that? If I heard that with my own ears out of one of my homies' interrogation rooms, I would not fuck with that nigga no more. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna be like, shit, he was this close to being like, yeah, he did it. If he's saying, well, that's what they say. No, bro. No. I can't move the goalposts for Thug. As much as I fucks with Thug, man. Lifestyle is one of my favorite songs, bro. That shit really touched my heart, my nigga, because I did a lot of shit just to live this fucking lifestyle, my nigga. I'm in Japan in a 4-bedroom mansion, my nigga. I got a backpack right here because I'm about to go see 3 different islands in 4 days. You feel me? But I can't move the goalposts when I heard what I heard, bro. Now, if this was just some hearsay, oh, they say Thug said that, and then Pee Wee Roscoe got on there and be like, nah, Thug ain't snitching. I didn't hear him say that, so I gotta go off of what Pee Wee Roscoe say. But when I hear it out of his own mouth, and he says, I don't want to, mess up y'all investigation or whatever, but, they say Pee Wee Roscoe did it. I don't know, Thug, you way smarter than that, my nigga. So I'm not going to fault you for getting in there and trying to pick the police brain and see what all else they know that you can use into your advantage. But you cannot say that as a street nigga, as a thug. You cannot say that, bro. You cannot insinuate anything like that, bro. And I fucks with Thug, bro. But I cannot just the real nigga in me just cannot move the goalpost. Otherwise, that is jeopardizing my own integrity. You feel me? As a man, as a former street nigga who I've held people to the same standards. I've held people to the same standards, my nigga, and have cut them the fuck off for the same kind of shit. So I would be a hypocrite if I sit here and be like, nah, that's cool. Nah, he ain't even dry snitch. At the minimum, he ain't even dry snitch. No, bro. Like, I gotta be, if y'all watch my channel, I gotta keep it the same energy, my nigga. That's how people respected with their integrity, bro. When you keep the same energy for every single thing. So did Young Thug snitch? No. Did he snitch like Gunna? No. Did he traditionally snitch and get on the stand and raise his hand and point at that man like Cassie and all them? No. But did he dry snitch? Yes. Yes. If we going by street rules, yes. If Thug was a civilian, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, my nigga. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. You can't hold people who are not in the streets and civilians to the same thing. Like, you can't even hold me to the same thing because I've been telling y'all every video I'm not in the streets no more. But I still, in my heart and in my mind, live by street rules, which I'm still trying to shake. You feel me? But I'm not finna go tell on nobody either. Even though I'm a civilian, I'm still not gonna go tell on nobody because that's just my own personal morals as a man. You feel me? Especially if I'm doing crimes with somebody. That's just me as a man. That's just me as a man. But if we gonna hold Thug as a street nigga and a thug and all this other shit, we gotta hold him to the same standards as we will Gunna and anybody else when it comes to levels of snitching. I told y'all in other videos, this is different levels of snitching, but snitching is snitching at the end of the day. Whether you're blatantly snitching, whether you're dry snitching, whether you're telling somebody else in hopes that they'll tell, that's snitching too. That's third party snitching. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all kind of snitching, my nigga. And that's why the streets, y'all don't need to be in them. Y'all don't need to be in them streets, bro. Get up out them streets, man. I left them streets 7 years ago. Next month, I'm gonna pop a bottle of champagne. Stay tuned for that. But this is one of the reasons why, my nigga, is because the rules are they're so gray area nowadays, and niggas pick and choose and move the goalposts for who they want to who they like. And that's, no, we got to keep the same energy with everybody, bro. We got to keep the same energy with everybody. We got to hold everybody to the same standards, especially when they are claiming to be in the streets and thugs and gangsters and all this other shit. We got to hold everybody to the same standard. Like I said, I would be a hypocrite if I sat here and made any kind of excuse for that. Because I've held people to that same standard to this day that I do not fuck with because of that. Even though I'm not in the streets no more. You feel me? And I can have every reason as a civilian to be like, oh, you know what, man? I ain't even tripping about that shit no more. I ain't even in the streets no more, my nigga. But no, I just can't. I just can't. And I won't sit here on this camera and tell y'all any different, bro. Y'all would question my integrity then. And I'm not finna have nobody questioning my integrity over a motherfucker that I don't even fucking know, more or less. You know what I'm saying? So what do y'all think, man? Do y'all think him telling the police, well, they said Pee Wee Roscoe did it? I don't know. I don't even know if he said I don't know, but he damn sure for sure said they said Pee Wee Roscoe did it. Some might say that's snitching right there. To me, that's dry snitching. But at the end of the day, it don't matter if you blatantly snitching, if you dry snitching, if you third party snitching, like if you sneak snitching, there's all kind of snitching. Snitching is snitching at the end of the day. It all got the same last name, no matter what you put in front of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my point of view on it. Man, it hurt to hear that, especially how Thug been going so hard, and Thug was supposed to be the poster boy for keeping it 1,000, my nigga. Not 100, 1,000. But it's disappointing, man. I'm really disappointed because Thug should know better, bro. Thug should know better. And what you say can be used against you, whether it be in a court of law or the court of the streets, my nigga. Remember that. Hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow. And remember, you always got the right to remain silent. King.